some type of an issue. So we were just going to try to clean this edge just a tiny little bit more. So I'm just putting a little more pressure down on this side just to try to grab this edge, this surface. And we'll opposite way this now, so we're going to push in because we've spun it around. You can see it's nice and shiny now there. And just clean this a little bit, give this a good brush. And just hit this very lightly again. Alright, nice. So the next step that we need to focus on is this edge here. This already is pretty clean, pretty good. If I'm going to do anything with this, I'm going to have to move it off to the side because the top fins won't let it sit properly. So let's try to move this over real quick. And yes, that is the 400 grit under there, not 200. So again, we're working with 400 and 800, not 200. And I'm just going to give this a couple of passes. Go back and forth. Alright, the top edge here, this is already clean, this is clean. So this is kind of actually angled in right here. I got a little chamfer. So it's not that that's uneven, it's just that's actually going to draw down in right there. The side the same way on both sides. So we'll hit that a couple more times and try to make sure that it's going to have a really good seal even though that's beveled in. Okay. Guess we can give her another go. Okay. Alright, so the outside edge, it looks like we're almost all the way around here flush. Even if I don't have a good contact point right in here, I know I have it here. So that's where the two issues are going to be. But I'm more concerned with this outer dimension than the inner dimension. Because as you can see maybe in here at the bottom of this, the box is actually not going to cover that tiny little lip there that we were talking about. So we just need the seal to be true around the edge of this. Got just a little bit right there yet that doesn't look like it's going to form properly, so we'll do that now. Okay. Let's try to bring it back the other way. Put more pressure on that side there. And it's getting close. Just a little bit in here maybe. And as long as this is going true all the way around, I can get a solid bond all the way around the outside. I think we'll be all set. I'm gonna break the kitchen table. So, yeah, looking pretty good here. Alright, a couple more. Oh. Oh. It's definitely flat. It wanted to jump right away. Just putting the pressure on it, it wanted to buck back up. So, I should have my glasses on, really. This side's pretty good. This side's a little bit of a holiday yet. Let's see, so we want to press, pull back and hold down. So this area right here is where it's low. So when we turn this over, and if we are to pull it back, we want to bring the pressure in here. So we want to get away from this outer edge. We don't want to push it down so that it's taken off of here. We want to get onto the inner edge. So we're actually going to put probably more pressure on this side of it when we pull it up, and that should allow us to catch in through here. I'll just do some single passes. Okay, so it's a little better. It's just going to be too far down unless I really keep going over this thing, and I don't want to take that much away from it right now. I do want to keep this little, like I said, this little chamfered space there. See if I can just maybe take this to the other side. And just give it just a little bit of help on this end of it. Oh, I'm not flipping the thing over. Yeah, oh, still a little bit, maybe a couple more passes. See, we're taking not a lot, but every time a good amount of material off of here, making the surface. I think that's where we're going to leave it. We got a good edge all the way around. Just this little piece right here is the punch out from when they drilled these in. So when it was being machined, so this is kind of just a imperfection there. It could cause a leak to come out, but I don't see it happening. We're going to be Loctiting the screws in, and we're going to be using the Permatex, so very, very minimal there, and we do have the seal all the way around the outside. All right. And let's see here. So we got the box on both sides, good. And we got this surface good. Now we need to clean this thing. So, let's see here. Oh, this is the other thing we need to do. We're going to dress this real quick. Alright. Alright. Yep. Okay. That's definitely high in the middle. Oh, I get it on there properly. Want to be cleaning these edges if possible. We'll give it a little bit more. Alright, we're are starting to just barely catch. There may be just a tiny little press print there from when they sliced this off, or however it's made. You can see just a little tiny gleam on the edge. So we'll give it a little bit more love. Starting to get good up here. Actually, I want to break this table. Let me see if the rain stopped here just momentarily. I'll try to just get this out here for a minute. Bring my rag along. Make sure we keep our tool clean. Keep this in my pocket so it doesn't get wet on this table. There's still rain on it. Okay. Again, with this piece, all I'm really trying to do is just dress this. I know we're going to have some build up here. You can see from it running already with a deposit. I think we're going to be happy with that. It's not going to be an issue, so. I may try to get the file on there, but I do have plenty of material here. I just don't want any type of warpage whatsoever. If I go over this by hand with a file, it's liable to put some type of a minor pit in it, or disparity, if you want to call it that. Oh. And that's just cleaning it right up, just taking the rest of it off of there. That's working good. Okay, let's give it a couple more. Okay, yeah, I got a good edge there and there. Let's try this just a little more up in here. I am just ever so slightly pushing more pressure to the very edge of this. Instead of just holding it flat, I'm not lifting it up and just putting pressure down on the edge. So. just the tiniest tiny little bit of a fold right there in the steel, but I think without going into it too much, it's really not gonna make that much of a big difference. So we want this around here to be pretty clean. Obviously this is where this is gonna seat. We do have the gasket here for both sides, so that's really, in my mind, gonna take most of that. And just like I said, just trying to clean it and get it ready. So the next thing we want to do, speaking of getting it ready, I'll show you the pipe while I'm at it. I had it welded a couple of times. This is actually the mouth of a banana pipe attached to the YZ85 OEM. And this is a custom flange that the fabricator made for me with a heavy grade steel. I have the gasket here. So when you're working on your parts, you know, if you're not going to put everything together right away, or even if you are, it's always good to just label everything. See, I've got this as left side head exhaust, so if I'm looking at the bike, the left hand side of the header is where that bolt goes, because to be honest, the other side of the header actually has a different bolt on because it's a little bit longer. So you can see this kind of has a not completely round shape here. It is round to that effect, but because of the angle that it's cut in on, gives it kind of more of an oval. So matching it to this, this is more kind of the other way with the oval, so it's a weird configuration where this should be more like that, but it is in a sense like that. So that being said, no big deal. What I wanted to do is just map it. So this is a Toyota Highlander O2 oxygen sensor gasket. You can see the both sides here where this was actually up against the cylinder and this was against the exhaust. Now if I wanted to take my time, which at some point I will, I can take this shape here with the oil, get myself a piece of just regular paper and blank paper. If I press this onto there, and then I can either draw that out or cut that out and press this on there with the other side with the oil. Not sure if you can see that over there. Sorry if it's my head's down too much. But so if we're going to press this on each side and leave an oil print and draw that, and then we could overlap those, and we could actually see, you know, if I was to try to take it, open this up, other than just doing it by eyeball, where this is actually sitting on this here. Now I could open a little more possibly down here, and up top. That would bring me all the way out of there probably. It's running good though, you know. I want the exhaust to be able to get out of there just the fastest way it can. It doesn't want to stay home, wants to keep going, so I like to let it do what it wants to do. It helps the engine stay happy too. But anyway, we're gonna get this cleaned up. We got all of our parts ready here. We're gonna get some paper towels here. I recommend also using shop cloth, or you can see I got an old t-shirt here, just anything that's porous that's really gonna grab. We got some carb cleaner here. Usually I go to Napa, but this will work fine. This is a good brand too. I mean, I'm not getting paid by either of them for anything, just creature of habit, just like the oil. You know, I like to stay with the red line racing oil. So try to get our surfaces just free of anything. So get that completely clean. We're going to clean around the edge just a little bit too, get any kind of grease that could be there, or any metal shaving, or any kind of debris that's foreign, any foreign object, any foreign material away from where we're going to be working. Alright, so we're going to spray this again here. And same thing on this one. Just clean inside there even, just so it's getting on the inside edge of this as I'm doing that. Just keep it super clean. You guys could see me taking the motor apart last night there, trying to wipe everything down and scrub everything down. Went over this and sanded that all out, roughed that all out with the not the grinding wheel, but a polishing wheel on the drill and the Dremel. So we got this surface ready. Got that side ready. Now we do want to clean this as well, because we're going to end up placing this on here. In the meantime though, we have some other work to do in there. So I know this box is clean, as clean can be anyway, for having it been run. There's been nothing else in there since. You can see if I wipe it out, there's just, oh, there is just a tiny little bit that comes off of there. That's, like I said, just the heavy metal residue from the gasoline. So should we go ahead and clean this one while we're at it, just so both sides are done. If we have to come back over it later, we can always clean it again. Just that way we know we've done it at least once. And should we forget to do it later on, well, I think we'll be alright. But third time's a charm, as they say, right? So get this all good. And nothing on here that doesn't want to be there. Got a little pit in there already from the, probably from the ethanol additive. So that's sad. I'd probably take half of this plate down to get it to not be showing. Alright. Get our Permatex opened up here. Find the, let's see, where did I put the, before I forget. Get the exhaust. This was the right, we had it in the left. Oh yeah, there's a brain fart for you. There we go. Welcome to the world of head injuries. Alright, so this was on the left hand side we had it in. You can see the grease in the bag. Okay. Alright. Oh. Okay. All this clutter out of the way. I'm gonna cut this tip. Go in on an angle. I'm going to just barely try to get this open if I can. Go with a thin bead. Yeah, I can see through there now. Hold it under here, whatever. Okay. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna pop the top. And get this on here nice and nice. Okay, get some gaskets. What are we gonna do? This is the first thing. Here's our gasket. And we need a screwdriver. And more than likely I left it outside last night. Oh, there comes the rain again. Oh yeah. Okay. And reach into my magic pocket here. Oh no, here it is. Oh, we don't need a screwdriver. These are actually hex heads, or Allen keys if you want to call them that. And try to find pretty much everything I use is literally on a regular basis is literally right here in this box. Even something like this that you would use to take off a cassette with a chain whip, that's extra. Spoke key, use it frequently, but that's extra. This is an old puller that I use, chain brake thing that I take in the middle out and then use a punch. This is my guide, that's extra. I do carry that with me though because it seems to help quite a bit of people. Let's see here. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's 5mm, so I'm guessing this is going to be... There we are, right here, hopefully. Okay, that's the one. Let me see if I can read it for you without my glasses. That is 4mm. I wasn't sure if I read it or what. So... Alright, let's prep this. If we can, give her a good push. I'm going to take the pressure from the bottom of the tube. Now you notice the gasket fits the inside diameter or the outside diameter of the intake, but the inside diameter of the whole block because of the screws. So we're going to give this whole thing just a little smidgen. And we're going to come up here, carefully place our seal, our gasket. And just tapping that on. Clean this out of the... Should have a Q-tip here, but I didn't set them on the table, so apologize for that. Okay, so that's ready. Now we need to do the other surface that we're going to mate to it. And I'm going to open this just a tiny little bit more now that I got the inside of that on the cylinder a little better. Okay, if you want to use Permatex Red, that's going to give you, I think, the highest amount of heat resistance It's even actually rated to 50 degrees more than the exhaust gasket maker, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to try to drop these in here without making too much of a mess. We're going to use the channel, the flute that's on the side of those, to slide the heads down of the screw so we can get them in there. I have them in place, and we're going to set this up here. Well, try to anyway. First thing I have to do though is get some Loctite. Hi guys. Have a little fun. I don't want to bore you to death. It's hard enough to concentrate. Alright, I can hear some juice in there. Let's see if we can pick this little guy out and open it back up. That typically happens. It wants to... Whoa, yep. Okay. So we're going to give these just a dash. Get this thing sliding on me. Come on, man. So just one drop. Good drop. Like you're putting it in your eyeball. If it was Visine. Really didn't want that on there, but it's not going to matter. Okay, now I can find the cap. And just going to put my fingers in there and hold those still. I can double check. That still looks good. We're going to give this just a tiny little bit more. Now it's starting to set. There's no rush getting this on. We can wait, you know, a few minutes to allow it to gel up. I'm not going to in this situation because we do have the gasket there. We're not just making our own material. So alright, get this out of here. Wing it. Try to keep a flat surface. So I'm going to put this down, this Allen key, right into the head of the bolt, and that way I can kind of start that, hopefully just a thread or two. Now the other one, I can just grab it. I have as much luck with that one, hopefully. Oh, okay. Come on, baby. Alright, she's in there like swimwear. On it like Blue Bonnet. Alright, so that's barely even pressure tight. Like I said, we have plenty of time to get this snug. We're not in any kind of a rush. We want to make sure that everything is just the way it's supposed to be. It's not a Harley, but you know, if this was a $45,000 bike, we wouldn't be doing much different. So just good practice. Now you see I had the gasket maker on here before. We'll have to clean that up before we get the cylinder back on the engine. And when I took this apart, also here we got the permanent spacer that I made out of an old cylinder. We got a gasket under it, and then we'll be putting the gasket back on top of it as well. So we're gonna let that dry for a minute, and let me double check. Oh, this thing sets up in the tube. I should probably clean this out and try to save it for later. I'm going to wipe these off too and get rid of this work surface here since it's dirty. Just go ahead and wet this up and make sure this is clean for when we mate this. And just a tiny little bit of residue again from the gasoline, the heavy metals in the gas, but that's ready to go. So what we can do actually while we're waiting for that to start setting is we can use the Permatex to create a bond for the intake. So I'm just gonna kind of do a little circle motion here, back and forth. Very thin, just not even an eighth of an inch. We're looking at like a fingernail. All we want to do is press this together with the gasket and make an airtight seal. It should be airtight anyway, but we're just helping it. So ounce of prevention beats a pound of cure, right? Okay, so set this on the wrong way. That'll be funny. That's where that's gonna live. Again, I'm just gonna tap it on lightly. Kind of help it find where it wants to mate. Alright, let's just look at this real quick. Alright, we'll do this side. This, I'm just gonna run just a line. Come around the outside and the inside on that, just barely. Okay, all we're doing is just trying to help this make sure it's airtight. We don't want to over, like, make some super crazy freaking, this isn't something that's going on a car motor or something. All the action is inside of this box. All the force is inside where the reeds are at. So alright, so this is going to come here next, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully we're getting this all set up properly. Might be having a senior moment here. Okay. All right. Now this is the fun part. I'll do a last inspection on this, make sure there's no debris. on the carbon pedals. Let's give them a good look over. Something there. Is that a fingerprint? Okay, whatever it was is on the rag. Probably just more heavy metal residue. I said we've already got these set where they want to be. This is tight, this is tight, this is tight. This has just the smallest amount of bounce. I actually, when I set these, you hold your hand up in here and then tighten this down, and that should put the force to where they're supposed to be. If you try to just tighten these down without holding the reed, you may end up with them kind of wonky. So I'm sure there's other tricks to the trade, just how I ended up doing it. And that's going to go in there. Alright, I think we're going to do it, folks. Let's just keep going.